I want to be honest with you before this video even starts. I grew up with nothing. And I mean that literally, not in the we didn't have a second car way. I mean the my mom chose between electricity and groceries way. I know what level 1 feels like from the inside. And over the years, through a combination of obsessive studying, terrible mistakes, and a few good decisions, I've moved up that ladder. I've also spent years talking to people at every single level of wealth, from people drowning in debt to people worth tens of millions of dollars. And here is the one thing nobody tells you. Every level feels completely different, not just financially, emotionally, physically, the way you sleep, the way you talk to people, the way you make decisions. Most finance content tells you what to do with money. Nobody tells you what it actually feels like to have it, or not have it. So today, I'm going to walk you through all 7 levels of wealth, what each one really looks like, the real numbers behind each level, the one trap that keeps people stuck at each level, and the one move that gets you out. I'm going to introduce you to 7 different people at 7 different levels. Some of them might be you, and I promise, by the time we get to level 4, I'm going to show you a number that will completely change how you think about retirement. Most people never calculate this number. Stay with me until then. Level 1, the survival scramble. Net worth, negative. Income, just enough to get by. At level 1, you do not have a budget. A budget means you have money and you are deciding where it goes. At level 1, you have money and you are deciding which bill to ignore this month. That is a different thing entirely. Here is what a normal day feels like at level 1. You wake up, and before you even brush your teeth, you check your bank account. Not because you are excited, because you are scared. You need to know the number before the day starts so you can plan around it. And the number is almost always worse than you hoped. You do math in the grocery store. Not big math, small, embarrassing math. If I put the yogurt back, I can get the bread. You know the price of eggs without looking. You have known it for months. Sunday nights are the worst, because Monday means the week starts, and the week means expenses. And expenses mean the anxiety you spent all weekend running from is back. Meet broke Brandon. Brandon is 24 years old. He works 2 jobs, a warehouse job during the week and a shift at a fast food restaurant on weekends. Together, those 2 jobs bring in about $2,800 a month after tax. His rent is $950. His car payment is $340. His insurance is $180. His phone is $85. His utilities average $120. That is $1,675 in fixed costs before he buys a single thing to eat. He has $11.47 in his checking account right now. He has $0 in savings. He has $4,200 in credit card debt, some of it from a medical bill 2 years ago, some of it from a period where he was between jobs, and yes, some of it from a week in 2022 where he told himself he deserved a break. Brandon is not lazy. I want to be very clear about that. Brandon works 55 hours a week. Brandon is exhausted. Brandon represents roughly 40% of Americans who, according to the Federal Reserve, cannot cover a $400 emergency expense without borrowing money or selling something. Here is the financial reality at level 1. Being poor is expensive. That sounds like a joke. It is not. Economists call it the poverty premium, the extra cost that low-income people pay simply because they are low income. Here is what that looks like in real numbers. Brandon cannot buy in bulk because he does not have the cash up front or the storage space, so he pays more per unit for everything: toilet paper, food, cleaning supplies. Brandon had 1 late credit card payment 2 years ago. Because of that, his credit score is 580. Because his credit score is 580, his car insurance rate is 40% higher than someone with a 750 score. That is a real thing. Insurance companies in most states are legally allowed to charge you more for having bad credit. If Brandon ever needs emergency cash, The closest option is a payday loan. The average payday loan in the US charges an APR, annual percentage rate, of around 400%. If he borrows $300 and cannot pay it back in 2 weeks, that debt starts compounding at a speed that feels impossible to escape. This is not a character flaw. This is a system that charges extra for being at the bottom. The trap at level 1 is what I call the lottery mindset. Brandon buys lottery tickets. Not many, maybe $10 a month. But more importantly, Brandon is unconsciously waiting for a big break, a windfall, something that changes everything at once. A viral video, a lucky investment tip, a relative leaving him money. This thinking is the enemy of actual progress, because the way out of level 1 is not a miracle. It is one small, boring, unsexy move repeated consistently. The escape hatch. Build a $500 emergency buffer. Not $1,000, not 3 months of expenses, just $500 in a separate account, somewhere you cannot easily touch it. That is the entire mission at level 1. Nothing else. The Urban Institute ran a study on this. They found that households with just $250 to $749 in savings were significantly less likely to experience financial hardship after an unexpected expense than households with nothing. Not $10,000, not $50,000. Just a few $100s change the outcome. Because what breaks most people at level 1 is not their regular expenses. It is the unexpected $300 car repair that sends them to a payday lender, which starts a debt spiral that takes 18 months to climb out of. $500 stops that chain reaction before it starts. That is level 1. Now, let me tell you about the level that is honestly harder in some ways, because at least at level 1, you know you have a problem. Level 2, the treadmill. Net worth, 0 to 10K. Income, paying the bills, nothing more. At level 2, if someone asks how you are doing financially, you say fine, and you mean it. But fine at level 2 means I am not behind on anything right now. That is the entire definition of fine. You are not drowning, but you are treading water. And treading water takes all your energy, and you are not moving anywhere. You have enough money to pay your rent. You have enough money to buy food without thinking too hard about it. You have a small savings account, maybe $800, maybe $1,500, and it makes you feel responsible. But it is not growing. It just sits there as a backup while everything else in your life costs exactly as much as you make. Meet Treadmill Teresa. Teresa is 31. She works as an office manager and makes $48,000 a year, about $3,200 a month after taxes. She has $1,200 in a savings account, $14,000 in student loans, and a 401k through her job that she enrolled in during orientation 3 years ago and has not looked at since. Last spring, she got a $200 raise. For about 3 days, she felt genuinely wealthy. She went to a nicer restaurant than usual. She bought a candle that cost $34, which she had never done before. Then her car needed new tires, and the raise disappeared into the same place all her money disappears, into the general cost of living. Teresa's biggest financial accomplishment this year is that she did not add to her credit card balance. She calls this saving money. Her bank would like to point out that she has the same $1,200 she started the year with. Here is what is actually happening to Teresa financially. Every time Teresa's income goes up, her spending goes up to match it. This is not because Teresa is bad with money. This is because of something called hedonic adaptation, a psychological pattern where humans automatically adjust their lifestyle upward when they have more and return to roughly the same level of satisfaction they had before. In simple terms, you get more money, you get used to slightly nicer things, and now the nicer things are just your normal. So you need even more money to feel the same way you felt before. This is why the average American saves only about 3.6% of their income. Not because they are irresponsible, because spending is the path of least resistance, and saving requires actively fighting a natural human tendency. Financial experts generally say you need to save 20% or more of your income to build real, lasting wealth. The gap between 3.6% and 20%, that gap is where retirement goes to die quietly. The trap at level 2 is the comparison debt loop. Teresa follows a few people on social media who seem to be living better than her. New clothes, nice vacations, good restaurants. Teresa does not know that two of those people are financing their lifestyle on credit cards. She just knows they look like they are doing better than her. So she spends a little more than she should to feel normal. And feeling normal at level 2 costs slightly more than she makes. And so the $1,200 in savings does not grow. Social media is not the cause of this problem, but it is a very effective tool for making it worse. The escape hatch? Automate 10% of every paycheck before you can spend it. Not try to save 10%. Automate it. Set up a direct deposit split so that 10% of every paycheck goes straight into a separate high-yield savings account, an HYSA, before it ever hits your main account. Right now, in 2024, many online banks are offering 4.5% to 5% APY on HYSA accounts. That means your money earns interest just for sitting there. If Teresa makes $3,200 a month and automates $320 to an HYSA at 4.5% interest, after 2 years, she has roughly $8,100. She did not feel the money leaving. She did not make any dramatic life changes. She just stopped letting the money be visible before she could spend it. The human brain cannot resist money it can see, so the solution is to make it invisible. This is the escape from level 2. And here is why level 3 is where things start getting genuinely exciting, but also genuinely dangerous. Level 3, the almost there. Net worth, $10,000 to $100,000. Income, room to breathe. At level 3, something changes in how you feel about money. For the first time, it does not feel like the enemy. You have some saved, you paid off something, maybe a credit card, maybe a small loan. You feel for the first time like you are doing this correctly. You have started investing, maybe a little, maybe not the right way yet, but you have started. You have a Roth IRA or a 401k you actually contribute to. You have checked your net worth, and it was a positive number, which felt genuinely surprising. Here is the danger. Level 3 is comfortable enough to stop. It feels like success. It is not success yet. It is the foundation of success. There is a big difference. Meet Almost Arthur. Arthur is 38. He makes $72,000 a year as a project manager at a construction company. He has $22,000 in savings. He just made his last car payment 6 months ago, and it felt incredible. He contributes $100 a month to a Roth IRA because he heard about it on a podcast, and it seemed like the right thing to do. Arthur has made real progress. He should be proud of that. He is significantly ahead of where he was 5 years ago. Arthur also just financed a boat. Not a big boat, a $14,000 used fishing boat. He is paying $280 a month for it. He goes out on it about once every 3 weeks. He tells himself it is an investment in his mental health. The boat is not the problem. The timing of the boat is the problem, and I'll come back to why in a moment. Here is what Arthur needs to understand about compound interest. Compound interest is the most important concept in personal finance, and also the one that is hardest to feel until you see the actual numbers. So here are the actual numbers. If Arthur takes $10,000 and invests it in a low-cost index fund at age 38, and that fund returns 8% per year on average, which is roughly the historical average of the US stock market, by the time he is 65, that $10,000 becomes approximately $85,000. He did nothing. He did not touch it. He just left it there. Now look at what happens if he had invested that same $10,000 at age 28 instead of 38. Same 8% return, same zero effort. By 65, it becomes approximately $185,000. Same money,
Same zero effort, 10 extra years. $100,000 difference. That is not a typo. 10 years of waiting costs Arthur $100,000 in returns on a single $10,000 investment. This is why the boat's timing matters. Every dollar Arthur spends on loan payments right now is a dollar that is not compounding in the market during his highest earning, most critical investing years. The right investment vehicles at level 3 are straightforward. First, contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match. That is free money your employer gives you, and not using it is genuinely one of the most expensive financial mistakes you can make. Second, max out your Roth IRA. In 2024, the limit is $7,000 per year, and the growth is completely tax-free. Third, put anything extra into a low-cost index fund that tracks the total U.S. stock market. That is not complicated. That is almost the whole strategy.
The trap at level 3 is what I call I deserve this syndrome. After years of saying no to things, level 3 is the first time saying yes feels financially safe. And so people say yes to the boat, to the nicer car, to the vacation, to the kitchen renovation. None of those things are wrong. The timing is often wrong. Spending money on lifestyle upgrades at level 3 before your investments are fully automated and growing is the single most common reason people spend a decade at this level instead of 2 years. The escape hatch. Create a future self fund with a name that means something to you. Open a separate investment account, not a savings account, an actual investment account, and give it a name. Not investments. Name it Retire at 55, or the House Fund, or whatever future version of your life you are actually trying to build. Behavioral economist Shlomo Benartzi has published research showing that people who name and mentally picture a specific future goal save measurably more toward that goal than people who treat saving as an abstract financial activity. Make it concrete. Make it named. Make it automatic. Now, here is where it gets really interesting. Because level 4 is where most personal finance content lives, but nobody talks about the number you need to calculate to actually understand whether you are building real freedom or just a comfortable cage. Level 4, the comfortable. Net worth is $100,000 to $500,000. Income, multiple streams starting. At level 4, something genuinely changes. Not just in your bank account, in your body. You stop checking prices at the grocery store, not because you are rich, just because you no longer need to. The low-level background hum of financial anxiety that has been running your whole adult life, it gets quieter. For some people, it goes away almost completely. You start thinking about time differently. Instead of managing week to week or month to month, you're thinking in years. You are having conversations about 5-year plans. You look at your retirement account and see a number that feels real instead of theoretical. This is what financial stability actually feels like. And the first time you feel it, it is strange because you spent so long managing anxiety that you do not immediately know what to do with its absence. Meet comfortable Claire. Claire is 44. She and her husband together bring in $130,000 a year. Their net worth is $280,000, a mix of home equity, 2 retirement accounts, and a brokerage account they started 3 years ago. They have a college fund for their daughter. Claire bought a used Tesla last year and paid cash for it. Claire has not worried about a bill in 3 years. She knows the money is there. She still clips digital coupons at the grocery store every week. Her therapist told her this might be a leftover habit from years of financial stress, what therapists sometimes call financial trauma residue. Claire says she is just being responsible. Both things are probably true.
Here is the number I promised you. Your freedom number. Your freedom number is the amount of money you need to have invested so that you can stop working and live off the returns for the rest of your life. This comes from something called the Trinity Study, a well-known piece of financial research from Trinity University. The study found that if you withdraw 4% of your investment portfolio per year, historically, your portfolio has a very high probability of lasting 30 years or more, even accounting for market downturns. That means your freedom number is your annual expenses multiplied by 25. If you spend $60,000 a year, your freedom number is $1.5 million. If you spend $50,000 a year, it is $1.25 million. If you spend $40,000 a year, it is $1 million. Here is what most people miss. Reducing your annual spending by $10,000 does two things at the same time. It reduces your freedom number by $250,000. And it also frees up $10,000 per year to invest, which gets you to that number faster. Cutting expenses at level 4 is twice as powerful as increasing income because it works from both ends simultaneously. Claire's freedom number at $70,000 in annual household expenses is $1.75 million. She is currently at $280,000. She is not done, but she knows the target. Most people never calculate this number. If you do nothing else after watching this video, calculate your freedom number today. The trap at level 4 is the golden handcuff. Claire and her husband have a nice mortgage in a good school district. Their daughter goes to a private school that costs $14,000 a year. They have 2 car payments. Well, one now that Claire paid hers off. Their lifestyle costs $130,000 a year to maintain, which means Claire cannot afford to earn less. The comfort she has built requires her to keep working at exactly this income level. The lifestyle has become a cage with very nice interior decoration. This is the golden handcuff. The more comfortable your life gets, the harder it becomes to make any change that might reduce your income, even temporarily. Changing careers, starting a business, moving somewhere cheaper, all of it feels more dangerous than it actually is, because the lifestyle has expanded to fill every dollar.
The escape hatch. Calculate your freedom number today and make it visible. Write it down. Put it somewhere you see it regularly. Then reverse engineer what you need to invest each month to reach it based on your timeline. Level 5 is where the psychological shift is more dramatic than any financial shift. Stay with me. Level 5. The wealthy. Net worth, $500K to $3 million. Income? Work is now optional. At level 5, you realize something uncomfortable. You thought money was the problem. You solved the money problem. And then you find out the problem was never just money. Your financial anxiety is mostly gone, but it gets replaced by a different kind of anxiety. The anxiety of optimization. Are you in the right funds? Is your tax strategy efficient? Is your accountant good enough? Should you have a financial advisor? These are genuinely privileged problems. You know that. It does not stop them from feeling like real problems. And something else happens at level 5 that nobody prepares you for. You start noticing that the actually wealthy people around you do not look wealthy. They drive normal cars, they wear regular clothes, their houses are nice but not ridiculous. The performative wealth, the flashy stuff, that is mostly happening at level 3 and 4, where people are trying to signal a status they haven't fully reached yet. At level 5, people stop performing. Meet quietly wealthy Will. Will is 52. He owns a small landscaping business that he built over 22 years. His net worth is $1.4 million, about $600,000 in the business itself, $450,000 in investment accounts, $200,000 in home equity, and the rest in cash and other assets. Will could stop working tomorrow. He does not, because he built the business himself and genuinely likes the work, and also because, and this is the part nobody talks about, he does not know who he is without it. Will's biggest financial meeting this year was with an estate attorney to set up a trust for his 2 kids. His kids do not know how much he is worth. He thinks about whether he should tell them approximately once a week. Here is what changes financially at level 5.
Below $500,000, the primary goal is accumulation. Grow the pile as fast as safely possible. Above $500,000, the goal shifts to preservation and tax efficiency. These require different strategies. Tax loss harvesting becomes relevant. This means intentionally selling investments that are down in value to create a tax loss that offsets your gains elsewhere. It sounds counterintuitive, but it is a legitimate and widely used strategy. Level 6, the rich. Net worth $3 million to $30 million. Income, the money works for you. At level 6, you stop relating to most financial content, including, at this point, most of this video. The problems and strategies I have described so far are no longer your problems. You have a financial advisor, not someone at a big bank who earns commissions, but a fiduciary fee-only advisor who is legally required to act in your interest. You have a CPA who knows your name and calls you, not the other way around. You have started receiving physical mail from private banks offering services you did not know existed. And here is the thing people at level 6 consistently report. It does not feel as different from the inside as they expected. You eat the same food. You sleep in the same body. The baseline of daily life is recognizable. What changes is who wants something from you. Meet Rich Rachel. Rachel is 47. She built a software company over 11 years, and 2 years ago, she sold it. After taxes and transaction fees, she cleared $8 million. She expected the day the wire hit her account to feel transformative. It felt like a Tuesday. She checked the number 3 times to make sure it was real, ordered Thai food, and watched television. Level 7, the untouchable. Net worth $30 million plus. Income, not really a concept anymore. At level 7, you do not have money problems. You have money management problems. These are so different that they barely belong in the same category. You have a family office, a private company whose only job is managing your financial and logistical life. You have staff, someone manages your properties, someone manages your schedule, someone manages your investments. You are, in a real sense, the CEO of your own financial ecosystem. You think about legacy far more than lifestyle. What are you leaving behind? Who does your wealth serve after you? What does your name mean?
Meet the invisible billionaire. You do not know his name. That is intentional. He drives a Ford F-150 that is 7 years old. His kids went to the local public school. He has been with the same partner for 38 years. He eats at diners when he travels for work. He gives away approximately $40 million per year through a foundation run by 2 full-time employees. And he does it anonymously. He has more money than he could spend in 12 lifetimes. He knows this. He does not think about it very much. He spends most of his time thinking about whether the foundation is actually solving the problems it is targeting or just feeling like it is. He is fictional, a composite of a real archetype that does exist and is far more common among the ultra-wealthy than popular culture suggests. The person who figured out why before they figured out how much. Here is what actually builds level 7 wealth. The ultra-wealthy do not get rich by owning stocks. They get rich by owning companies, equity stakes, founded businesses, controlling interests in assets that other people manage and grow. At this level, the vehicles are private equity, direct real estate ownership at scale, angel and venture capital investing in early-stage companies, and philanthropic foundations that allow for significant tax efficiency while creating real-world impact. The ultra-wealthy also hire people to protect what they have built: tax attorneys, estate planners, investment managers, insurance specialists. The team around the money is as important as the money itself.
But here is what all the research actually says about level 7. A well-known study from Princeton found that emotional well-being, day-to-day happiness, feeling positive, not feeling stressed, rises with income up to about $75,000 to $100,000 per year. After that, the gains flatten significantly. Updated research in recent years has pushed that number higher, to around $100,000 to $200,000, depending on location and circumstances.
But the fundamental finding holds. Beyond a certain point, more money does not produce proportionally more happiness. The people with $50 million are not 10 times happier than the people with $5 million. In many cases, they are dealing with 10 times the complexity. What the people at level 7 who report being genuinely content have in common is not the size of the number. It is that they know what the money is for. They made that decision clearly and early. The money serves a purpose that is larger than the money itself. I am not at level 7. I want to be straight with you about that. I am somewhere on this ladder, working my way up like most of you are. But I have studied these levels obsessively because I started at level 1 and I needed someone to show me the whole map before I started walking. This is the map I wish I had. If it helped you, send it to one person who needs it. That is all I ask. And drop in the comments right now, what level are you at? No judgment at all. Every person watching this is somewhere on this ladder. Tell me where you are and what your biggest obstacle is right now. I read every comment.